Yeah, it's your boy Ray on the mic. Let's go.
I had a phenomenal conversation with a student athlete and who's a junior in high school about triple jump, which is dope for me because I used to be a triple jumper, jumping in high school and in college and doing all those things, right? So it was really dope. But the conversation was really cool, getting to know him and his skill sets and abilities and what he desires to accomplish. And we kind of started diving deep into, just what are the things he needs to be successful, right? So talking about his technique, talking about how he works, talking about different phases of triple jump, just all the technical pieces of it. But the conversation eventually moved to, okay, so now what? Like, how do you then take the next step or be able to jump at the next level? And what are the ways that he can get to that level, right? And I started thinking about, like, in a few short ways or less, I'll recap the conversation with you all. And the first thing that I mentioned was essentially the self-work. You got to be able to put in the work personally to know, is that what you want to do, right? Do you want to be jumping at the next level? Do you want to go to college? Where do you want to go, right? Like, what do you truly want to do this? And what lights you up, what desires, things like that, because that helps just understand whether or not you're committed to this, whether or not you are wanting to put in the work to do what's necessary to get to the next level, right? So practicing that self-awareness, knowing who you are, knowing your strengths and skill sets and desires can be very beneficial in doing the next step, which essentially is the field work. So mostly the technical work that's necessary to become a good jumper. So knowing the techniques, knowing the type of workouts, knowing not only what to do in the weight room, but how to stretch or how to extend your phases in certain ways, where to put your eyes, how to land, doing new techniques like working with the trampoline and doing the work in that way, right? The technical skills necessary to become a really good jumper and get the marks necessary to succeed in your field. But then the third part is where we really hung our hat on, right? We really focused on the network. How do you put yourself out there and advocate for yourself to be put on the radar, right? Put on notice for these colleges and put yourself out there to let them know that, hey, like, I'm this up and coming jumper and I'm interested in your school and I want to know what it takes to get to your school, right? But the twist that we talked about this is not only just saying, hey, this is me, this is what I do, and I want you to watch me, but be able to ask questions to those recruiters or jumpers coaches or anybody in that school, even athletes, and just ask them, what do you suggest are ways that I can perfect my skills? How do I become better in this field? What's your advice for being somebody at that level that somebody can do to get to that level, right? Asking them questions, because coaches love to provide feedback, right? Love to provide, like, coaching. They love to teach. They're in the profession for a reason. So they will love to give any type of feedback to an up and coming athlete who's interested in getting to their space and just give them game, right? Give them game so they could be better. And what better way than a junior who's about to enter into their season and about to decide what colleges look like to ask the right questions to those recruiters and get to know what it is it would take to be at that level as an athlete. And the good thing about that is, by you reaching out, they get to know you, you get on their radar, and then if you do the work, do the field work, right? The technical work necessary to succeed on the track, field, whatever, then they can come out and see you. They can watch you, they can see your growth. So emailing, using all social media apps, asking the questions, engage them will be really beneficial. But then here's another piece, right? No, we're gonna get deep into this. But here's another piece that we talked about. He asked me a really unique question. He's like, so do I just reach out to D1, D2, D3 schools? I'm like, why limit yourself? Why not reach out to the D1 schools? Why not extend yourself as far as you can? Because you might get some people who respond, you might get people who won't, right? But at least you are putting in the work, and it's the repetition of speaking up, speaking out, networking with people in these particular areas, and let them know that you are here, but not particularly just to brag about yourself, but just to ask them their expertise and advice of what it means to be successful at their level, right? So reach out to all D1 schools. Do the research to figure out what are the names of the position coaches and the recruiters in those areas. Reach out to the D2 schools, reach out to the D3 schools, reach out to the JUCOs, reach out to everybody, right? Because you're gonna find a certain theme of not only just the field work and technical skills, but also the ways in which to get into the schools. And you can find a common thread to say, hey, like, I really can succeed in these different areas because I'm seeing a common theme of how I can approach my game or how can I approach my jumping. So any school that comes and looks at me, I'll be ready. And then that's how you get on their radars for those official visits. That's how you get on their radars for their scholarships, as you know, radars for them coming out to your meets. There's so many different things there that can be beneficial for you in those areas. But the self-work, the field work, and the network are the three types of works that is necessary. And honestly, these are the things that I wish somebody would have told me. Be more intentional about what does it take to do the self-work and know what it is I want to aspire towards. But then obviously the technical work was there, the field work, the additional work there. But then networking with schools, reaching out to schools, reaching out to recruiters, asking them the questions, and then letting them know that I'm here. And then the last piece that I told them in this networking space is that you don't have to just work out with people within your school, right? Like, you might be able to get away with a buddy. It's good to have accountability and to work out with some people there, but maybe it's beneficial to network with some other people in the school district, right? Like the other kids that, reach out to social media, say, hey, yo, we're trying to win out here. Let's work together and let's get better together, especially in a sport like track where, there's some individualization happening there. But if you are not only networking with those in the college space, but you can also network with those who are around you and just build together, work together, become excellent together. And who knows, maybe y'all get noticed and you become the best kids coming out of this area because you put in the work to get there. So how does this tie to you as a leader? How does this tie to you in what you're trying to do? Well, you got to be able to know who you are, your strengths, your weaknesses, where you want to grow, your desires and goals, and how you want to move in this world and be really intentional about that. That is the self-work. Then the technical work, the field work, essentially is you actually showing up and executing at a high level what you said you're going to execute on. You're practicing techniques, you're talking to your staff, you're engaging with your people, you're really getting comfortable with excelling in your craft, and you have to put in the work to do that. Then the networking piece is being able to extend and reach out to other people around you and ask them, what does it take to be successful in their field? What are they seeing in their industry? And how does that relate to you in your industry? And build partnerships in that way. And that will put you on notice. So going online, reaching out, emailing folks, DMing people who are a couple steps ahead of you and working with them, because one day you will be in that position. And if you put in the work to get there, and we all got to put in the work to get there, and especially if you want to see success tomorrow, more particularly to see success today. These are the things I wish I would have known early on in my athletic career, but I'm definitely seeing the transition happening in my career, and I want to share that with you all as well. What does it look like for you all to put in the work? How does that look for you? What's your self-work process? What's your technical field work process? And what is your networking process? I'd love to hear that. Ray Devante, get at me. Let's chat.